Hey, this is Matt. We're on the We're doing the podcast. We're doing Zach's story, and basically, this is the very end. This is his final arrest, and what ended up sending him to prison for. Did you do 16 years? How many? No, you didn't. You did.
I served 13.
You 13. How he did 13 years, and just how the whole thing sums up, and what he's doing now, and just hanging out, that kind of stuff. That's it. Pretty much it. All right. See ya. So check this out.
So Mary has her money. She's in her new car. She has what she needs. She's to come back to Georgia, where she's to set up and get her two girls to take her first trip. My wife and I fly back to Georgia, where I'm going to get all the paperwork together, ready for Mary to go. Right? I wanted to give Mary a little time. It was supposed to be like 3 days, 4 days, and she's supposed to call and let us know. So on about the fourth day, about third day, probably the day before she was supposed to call, I get a call from JoJo. Hello? She goes, hey, Mary's in jail. Like, what? Like Mary, the Mary we just, the Mary that you went down to Florida with, the Mary, yeah, she's in jail. She's in jail? What is she in jail for? Like, what happened? Like, so she goes, when she calls me back, I'll let you know, but she called me from jail, letting me know she's in jail. So Mary calls her back, JoJo calls me back, and it's like, hello? I'm like, Mary, hello, what happened? She's like, oh, I don't know. It's crazy. I got in the car with this guy. He had some crack on him, blah, blah, blah. We got pulled over. We got arrested. He wouldn't even claim the crack, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself, fuck. Oh, my God.
Thought this chick had it together.
And she's a crackhead. Oh, my God. No. I've given her like $5,000, $6,000. I didn't even ask her about the rental car. I didn't even ask. It's just like, ugh. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? She goes, just got to get me out of here. I'm going to work. I promise you, just take whatever you take. I'm going to work. Just get me to work so I can make this money and get me out of here. So I said, okay, well, how much is your bond? She goes, my bond's $22,500.
For crack?
Yeah, well, it's $250, to get her out. It's 10%.
Oh, you said? Oh, did you say 22,000?
No, I said $2,500.
Oh, okay, I thought it was 22,000.
No, like, jeez. So she goes, my bond's $2,500. Blah blah blah. So I hang up with her. I said, okay, we'll bond you out. So I hang up with her, and I'm talking to JoJo now. Like you said before, I had access to all our accounts through like my phone. Like this is the era of the smartphone, the BlackBerry. So I could transfer money to JoJo.
The fact that you said of the BlackBerry is a smartphone.
It's a smartphone.
Guys will be laughing right now.
This is 2007.
These fucking old school fucking motherfuckers.
This is 2007, So I called Joe. I talked to Joe. He goes like, well, I go, bond her out, JoJo. She goes, send Junior down there to pay her bond. She goes, want me to get a bondsman? I said, no, I'm going to send you the $2,700. Give that to Junior, tell him to go cash bond her out for me. She's like, okay, I got you. So they arrange, we make arrangements for that. I kind of go to bed or I do what I do. I think I tell my wife, So the next morning about 10 o'clock, JoJo calls me. Hello? She goes, Mary's still in jail. I'm like, what, you didn't bond her out? She goes, yeah, we bonded her out, but she's still in jail. I'm like, well, what's going on? She goes, apparently she's gotten 2 charges that she didn't even know about. So she gets on the phone. She goes, yeah, I had these forgery charges going on, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, you had forgery. So she had a check charge show up and her bond was $5,000. So I'm like, what? She had an uttering a forged instrument and a forgery charge for this one check she wrote.
So it's an additional
It's additional bond. So when we posted her $2,500 bond, she's in this county called Fayette County, which is Fayetteville, Georgia.
Yeah.
So when we posted her bond, they just dropped those charges and she couldn't get out of jail. So I'm like, oh, come on, just get me out. I'm going to work. I promise you I'm going to get to work immediately. I'm like, oh. Pay the bond. You want me to use the bond? No, don't use a bondsman. I'm going to send you over $5,200.
Not now. Now it's
No, don't use the bondsman. I don't want any signatures. Just put the money on her books and cash bond her out of there. All right, no problem. We got it. All right. That night or the next morning, hello? Yeah, she's still in jail. Okay.
You running game on me.
She's like, and now her bond is $7,500. What?
I'm going to miss Mary.
Okay.
No.
I don't know. Is this detective? So she gets on the phone. Mary, I don't know. Is this detective? He hates my guts. As soon as you pay the bond, he finds some other check and he put it on me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. Oh. Pay the bond. No bondsman.
Oh my God.
Cash. I'm going to send the cash over. I'm going to have to make a transfer, go pick some up, send Junior my way. See, all while this is going on, Junior's running around and he gets the money and he takes it and he puts it on her books. And now that she has enough money on her books, they pay her bond and she's to get out. Needless to say, after all that transpired, Mary's still in jail. Her bond is $10,000.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We're done.
I thought that. So I'm like, okay, her bond is $10,000. What is going on? Mary tells me that's all of it. I promise. That should be, I don't mean, it couldn't have been that many checks. That's all of it. Just get me out of here. I'm going to pay you back every dime. I'm going to work the first job for free. Da, 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 just so you get your money back. You're the most important thing. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Listen. Go ahead.
Pay the bond. You got to send me the cash? No, use a bondsman.
You know how disappointed I am in you right now, right? Like, yes. I don't really fully remember this story. Like,
you
this
don't remember?
Not this bad. Like, I mean, like I can, for that much money, I can get another Mary. I can.
You can buy a Mary.
I can go buy a Mary.
Man. Yes. See, remember I told you the dominoes, when I look back, the dominoes fell perfectly. So there's a Mary. I'm thinking, okay, I get 1 or 2 trips out of her. I'm going to get this money back.
Right.
So pay the bond. Bondsman. So Junior signs for her, goes to a bondsman, finds a bondsman, signs her bond to get her out. Mary's still in jail. Her bond's $15,000. I'm like, all right, she's calling and screaming. So I tell Mary, I said, you know what? Okay.
We're done.
I don't say we're done. I said, okay, this is what we're going to do, Mary. I said, there's this hot lawyer that helped me and my wife. His name is Adrian. He's a fantastic lawyer. I'm going to hire him to come down there and find out what's going on. Because she's telling me, listen, I've got your future. Look, I've got all these girls ready to go.
I know. She's working you.
Worked me. So I pay the lawyer. The lawyer, I call up. I go, she needs a bond. This is what's going on. They're stacking charges on top of her. Da, 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 da. He goes, listen. And the lawyer, Adrian, he was so cocky. You know, he was this light-skinned, probably half black, half white guy. Very handsome. Had an awesome law firm downtown, but he was part of a firm. Like, I don't have time to listen. You know what I'm saying? You get a few words in, I'll decipher everything else and blame you if I miss something. You got that?
Nice. Yeah.
So, of course you do. So he's like, listen, I'll find out what's going on. I got this. I'll go down there in the morning and check it out. My fee for getting a bond is $10,000. For handling the whole case, it's another 10.
Jeez.
So get me 10 bands and I'll go down there and I'll get her a bond. I got you. I guarantee you I get her a bond.
You're at like 50 grand now. Aren't you close to 50?
I'm close to 50.
Yeah.
So, so I give him 10. He goes down to get her a bond. So he goes down to see Mary, right? And when he comes out, like all of this is going on. By the way, I'm living my life. We're looking for the franchise. It's me, my wife, and my daughter. We're living a normal life while this is.
Yeah, these are periodic, just phone calls.
Yes,
this is a 5 minute,
in the midst.
3-minute phone call with transferring some money and just moving on.
Yes, it's like, okay, that wasn't the decision I made, so go ahead. So I get a phone call, and it's the lawyer, and he doesn't sound cocky anymore. So I answer the phone. Yeah, Adrian, what's going on? He goes, okay, listen. I fucked up and you fucked up. Excuse
I've
me?
been here the whole time.
Like, one more time. He said, I fucked up and you fucked up. Okay. So how did I fuck up? He said, you fucked up because you did not tell me that this girl did not know your real name. I didn't tell you she didn't know my real name? No, you didn't. Huh.
But
So
But she does now.
How did you fuck up? He said, I fucked up because I told her. He said, I'm telling you this because I wasn't in there 2 seconds and she asked me, who paid you? And I said, your real name, your first and last name. And she said, oh, that's his real name. And he said, that hit my gut like a rock. I'm like, oh, God. Whoo. But he goes, I do have some good news.
I got her a bond.
No. He said, I do have some good news.
The feds are going to bond her out now. With that name, she went and talked to the feds, and they gave her a bond.
You're giving the story away, man.
Sorry.
I haven't got to the end of the story. You're giving it away.
Sorry.
He goes, I have good news. I have a bond hearing set for her next Thursday. Okay. He goes, I'm going to guarantee to get her a bond.
Did the heat shoot up through you?
Oh,
when
I'm sweating now thinking about it. Yes. Like, I told her your real name.
It's so bad. Yeah, you did fuck up. you really should have been like, listen, she don't. First of all, why does he know your real name? Oh, because he had.
He helped me and represented me in court.
Right. Okay.
In fact, that's the only name he knew me by.
Okay.
So my mess up was hiring somebody that knew me.
Yeah.
Like, I should have said, you pick a lawyer and I pay him.
Right.
You know, and Junior, he could have gave him Junior's name. You know, like, Junior.
And none of these other people know your name. Like
No.
Mary, not Mary, but
JoJo.
JoJo doesn't. Nobody knows your real name. Right.
He does because he represented me in court.
Right.
But now so does Mary.
Right. Yeah, I understand.
All right.
So what happened?
So he sets her a bond hearing. JoJo and I talk to Mary. We try to calm her down a little bit. It's going to be all right. Next week, you're going to get a bond. We're going to go ahead and finally put all this to rest. He's going to blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, just get me out of here. And she's committing to like, okay, how much are you into me now? I'm going to do this to make it all up to you. I promise you, we're going to get this back. We're going to make this money. Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm praying for the best. All right, so the Thursday comes and the bond hearing shows up. I want to go, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to the bond hearing. So he comes, although now it's not periodical thoughts that this is occurring. This is kind of my main focus.
Yeah. Now you can't stop thinking about it.
That's right. So he goes to the bond hearing, he comes out, and he calls up and he goes, all righty. I got good news and I got bad news. I'm like, come on, man. You don't just, which one do you want first? Give me the good news. Give me the good news first. How about that? He goes, okay. So what I found out is apparently she was going around to Walmart in the Atlanta metro area and she was writing checks and getting gift cards. So somehow she got some kind of book, a couple of books of checks, and she's writing them out and getting like $400 or $500 gift cards with them. Each check that she wrote is 2 charges. It's uttering a forged instrument and forgery. So the highest bond for those checks is $2,500 each, right? I got the judge to tell the detective, who, by the way, Adrian said pissed him off before he went in because he said something slick. And he said the detective asked who hired him. But he said that I got the judge to tell the detective, all of the charges you have, you bring them by tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Friday night at 6 p.m., right? Any charges after that, Mary gets OR bond for, right? So all those charges are going to be brought before then. He can't bring any more, otherwise she's automatically OR. So you'll be able to bond her out tomorrow evening.
Released on her own recognizance, right?
Yes. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Whew.
Bad
Wait
news.
a minute. Yeah. There was bad news, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, what's the bad news? The bad news is she wrote 72 checks. Are you shitting me? So Friday evening at 6, Mary bond listed at $685,000.
She's never getting out. She's never getting out. I'm not
What?
getting her. I wouldn't get her out. You did not get her out. Are you serious? You didn't get her out. That's for 10% of that is like $650,000, over $600,000. I mean, I'm sorry, over $60,000.
And they wanted property. So they wanted me to put up my house. So just so you know, Matt, you're right. I didn't get her out, but I did price the bond. And this was a moment. So I tell JoJo, I said, get me, like, what would I need to get her out? So I would need the 60. Really, it was going to be like 80,000 because they wanted a security deposit. And I'd have to give up a deed to my house. And the bondsman said, you do understand that if she doesn't show up for court, I will own your house. You will not get it back. That's one court hearing. So you need to give me 60,000. So I'm on the phone. I have him on speaker. So I'm sitting at my desk, and he's like, I'm going to need like $80,000, your signature, and the deed to one of your homes, with you signing that if she misses one hearing, that I will be the owner of your house. That's all I need. Well, what's the answer? So I'm like, yeah, can I call you back and let you know? Let me think it over. He says, all right, yeah, just let me know. I'm like, all right, no problem. And I hang up the phone, and I sit back, and I hear something move, and I look, and it's my wife standing there with my baby, both looking at me. And she said, if you bond her out, then I know you're fucking her.
Oh, God.
And walked out of the room.
How many?
Like,
No,
wow.
I promise you, if I do bond her out, I will be fucking her. From here on,
out. You ain't shit you can do about it.
man.
So Matt, given those circumstances, would you ever?
You know what's funny is we were talking about this earlier and the other day. It was like every time you tell someone that story, like, well, in prison.
In prison. I just tell that story in prison.
Yeah. And guys would say, oh, I'd have bonded her out. Yeah. Really? Yeah. And killed her. Like, then the whole thing falls apart. It's over. Like there is no case. She can't testify against me. She can't anything. I get all my money back. She's dead. Like, you talk to these guys.
Right. You're right.
Like, but that's what guys in prison will say, kill her. Like when I was with Becky and she had all the money and she was driving me crazy. You know how many guys were like, so she got like $600,000 in cash? Yeah. Oh, I'd have just killed her. And I'm like, okay, well, as a fraudster, that isn't an option. I'm not going to kill someone. So it bothers me that is like so many guys in prison.
Yes.
Their first reaction is, oh, okay, so you didn't kill her? No, I didn't kill her.
No,
what do you
people
mean?
say, unfortunately, I'd have bonded her out and offed her.
Right.
Like, that would have been the answer. Like, you had to bond her out. You already know she knows your name.
She knows your name. She's got to cooperate. Especially if you don't bond her out, because she's already a drug addict. We now know she's a crackhead who hasn't had crack in at least a week. She's jonesing. She hates you if you don't bond her out, because in her mind, everything because drug addicts, like if they're like, I promise I'll do that, at that moment they 100% believe it. And if you say I don't believe you, then they hate your guts, because they know they are telling the truth. Even though the truth is, you've made thousands of promises like that and never owned up to any of them. Yeah, but that was different. They can always justify why they've never been an upstanding.
Yes.
Yeah. So in their mind, it's like, you know what? Fuck him. I'm gonna go. Give me the FBI on the phone. This is the guy's name. This is. Boom.
Matter of fact, that's exactly what she did. Because the training.
That's crazy.
I know. The training that my wife and I did are the charges that we have in Florida.
You mean she didn't bring them back to the bank and get the video camera footage where you walked in? It was clearly you. Wow. So, what?
Well, after that, I mean, generally speaking, the lawyer Adrian, because I paid him the $20 to represent her.
Of course you did.
He actually got her a deal for like 3 years in prison for all of those checks. And he says, I know the parole, I know someone on the parole board. He goes, so I told her she wouldn't even do 8 months.
Did she do any time?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
He told my sister, Adrian told my sister that she did like 2 years, and he made sure of that.
Oh, okay, nice.
Because he was upset because there was a point in time, but Matt, all this got crazy. And so when she cooperated, there was a point when I called Adrian, and Adrian said to me, he says, like, I called him up, I said, Adrian, let me ask you, he said, don't ask me nothing. And let me tell you this. He goes, whenever you hire me to represent a client, I have to represent that client to the best of my ability, no matter what they decide to do.
Right.
So I am sworn by, this is a spiel he gave me that was probably written and presented to him like,
right.
Do anything other than represent this woman.
Right.
You know, it got very serious.
Right. But as he's reading it, you know, just by you telling me this, I know she's cooperating right now.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Got it. I totally understand. She's cooperating. Great. I need to get out of here. I need to start shutting down the operation.
Yeah, so that's where we're in Utah. So I'm like, okay, we don't go back.
You got to get out of Utah. You stick out like a sore thumb in Utah.
He's up that mountain.
Okay. Where the FBI were here, we're looking for an African American. He's over there.
Saw him last week.
I didn't even tell you. I can make a call. We know where he is at all the time. He just went through checkers.
Yes. That's poor Utah. Just slam me. But yes, that's basically. So we're over on the West Coast just to make something funnier. Yeah, this is. Well, the dynamics of what happened was the way we were arrested is when. I don't know. This is straight. I don't have all the answers for this. So
this is when they kick in JoJo's door.
Yes.
Okay.
So we decide we're staying in Utah and we're not coming back this way at all. Our families, my mom and Madison's mom arranged for Winter to be baptized and christened.
Right. Here, his daughter's name is Winter. Your daughter to be Christian.
Right. So we're christened. So we're gonna bring her back to Florida. So we get an airline ticket. This is something, we planned this even before Mary. As a matter of fact, when I think about it, this is before all this shit went down. Because the warning my wife gave me was everybody knows we're going back to Florida. So the day that we're supposed to go back to Florida, right? And by the way, Utah is 2 hours behind us. We're on the East Coast. They're on the mountain time. Mm-hmm. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, Junior calls me and says, hey, they kicked in JoJo's door and took her to jail. I'm like, what? He said, yes. And it wasn't the FBI, right? And JoJo lives in Atlanta, and it wasn't the Fulton County Police. The police from Fayette County drove over county lines and kicked in JoJo's door. Like one of the most illegal acts ever by the police.
All right.
Like, we're going to go into another county without any Fulton County sheriff and kick in this woman's door and take her out of the county into our jail.
Right.
Like, they broke the law.
I know you want me to act shocked. This is not uncommon. I know guys that were kidnapped in their own home countries where the FBI came in.
Yes.
Kidnaps the guy in his own country for something that's not illegal in his country. And he's like, oh, he's wanted here. Yeah, but you didn't extradite him. You didn't. No, we're not going to go through all that. They might not have done it. Well, so what you did was illegal. It's not illegal once we get him back to the United States.
I know.
It's like, it's only illegal if they catch us there. And then the United States was going to make them give us back. So they're really just not, and they're totally breaking the law, the whole thing. And then the guy goes in front of the judge and says, Your Honor, they kidnapped me in my own country and brought me here. And the judges are always like, yeah, it's fine. You're already here, though. Like, that's up to them to prosecute them. I have no jurisdiction there. And you're here. So we're going to go forward. Yeah, it's like, right. Wow.
Amazing. So they arrested JoJo. They kick in her door and arrested JoJo. Apparently what happened is the night before we were to leave, Mary called JoJo and gave JoJo a social security number. So when she gave JoJo that number over the phone,
Give them jurisdiction to go and
right?
kick in
So
the door.
they come in and kick. Of course, I mean, if I were to give you a social security number on the phone, the police should be barging through my door to arrest me for getting that.
Three counties over.
Yeah.
Right.
You're under arrest for writing down a number that somebody gave you. Let's go, goddammit.
Right. What's even funnier is that like back then, that kind of was how it was. Like now, you can give me your social security number. I can have your, and that's not a charge. But it used to be a charge. You're in possession of someone else's. I haven't done anything with it. Doesn't matter.
Let's go.
Aggravated identity theft. What? 2 years? Like, but now they're like, no, he has to actually use it. Oh, you mean he has to actually commit a crime with it?
Yes.
Now it's a crime. But holding it isn't a crime.
So,
but it was. How many guys did 2 years for that?
a ton.
Yeah.
A ton.
And apparently JoJo.
Apparently, well, JoJo didn't get any time. They actually dropped the charges. Right. So they really what they wanted is because of my whenever I travel, I had multiple identities. And so for traveling, I had an identity. My wife and I had an identity strictly for traveling. So I would never travel under my name. I would just travel under a name.
Right.
So that I would take the ID card and anyway, I mean, the way I would take my ID and overnight it to the hotel I was staying in.
Right.
And I would take the ID card and go check in the hotel, get my ID in the mail, and then I'd walk around as me the rest of the time. Overnight my ID back home and get back on a plane as my travel person. So nobody knew the name we were traveling under. So we were going to be able to land and they not even identify us. The only person that knew what name we traveled under was JoJo.
Right.
So they gave JoJo a social security number, kicked in her door, and took her to jail. When they took JoJo,
she held out because she's a gangster. No,
oh, of course, held out for at least a couple of minutes.
It was all of until they brought her a soda. That we got your soda. Okay, here's his name.
Their names.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they take JoJo to jail. Junior calls me and says JoJo's in jail.
Right.
So I'm like, for what? Like JoJo legitimately never did anything except answer the phone and make travel arrangements. I mean, of course, in a conspiracy. But anyway, so he tells me JoJo's in jail. My wife and I are freaking out. So my wife tells me, let's not go to Tampa. And I stupidly tell my wife, honey, JoJo's in Georgia. We're going to Florida. The Georgia police have no jurisdiction in Florida. See, I don't know it's the FBI. If I'd known it's the FBI, I probably would have thought, I think they got jurisdiction everywhere. We're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Except under these bushes over here. So I still get on the airplane to fly out. My wife tells me as we're at the airport in line, she says, I just want to say this for the record. If anything happens, I want it known that I was absolutely against this trip from the beginning. Because she's begging me, let's not go. Let's just go and get in a hotel room for like a month. And nobody knows where we're at.
Right.
We'll eat at a restaurant or whatever. Nobody knows where we're at. We'll just hide out.
But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. So I had a direct flight from Salt Lake City right into Tampa. So we get on our airplane that same day that JoJo was arrested,
Right.
Flew into Tampa, and lo and behold, as I step off the airplane, they call my name. Mr. Allen? I'm like, no, my name is Billy Bob.
Right.
Billy Bob? Yeah, I'm Billy Bob. You have some identification? I'm like, I absolutely do. Here you go. So the cop looks at it, looks at me. We'll deal with this later. Let's go.
Another charge. Who was that? Was it a cop or was it the agent?
It was the lavender guy. It was the purple man. That was our introduction to the purple man.
Mr.
When he
Lavender.
grabbed me, he took my wife and daughter in one direction and pulled me in another direction. You know, I'm a smart ass, so that's when I kind of pissed him off. But that's what led up to my arrest. That's what led up to my 1,698-month sentence in federal prison. All because of those 2 accounts that we opened with Mary.
That and all of the other arrests. Like you always say, well, and my charge, it was only a little bit of money. Yes, but you have all of these other
listen,
charges.
I don't like to bring that up.
Why you gotta be talking about the past? I used to love the guys. Why you gotta be bringing up the past? Yeah, so
yes,
your charge without all of the other charges would have been what? Probably like probation or something. but because of all of your history of arrests.
No, well, yes. I was a level. I was category.
At least 2 years for aggravated identity theft.
Right.
Right? Because you got aggravated, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. My loss amount was very low because of.
Right. Well, because they hadn't put everything together. So they don't have. They didn't have everything. They had just what they could directly link you to with the knuckleheads they grabbed.
Right.
So, I mean, God only look. If they had gotten everything, you know, we'd be talking on the phone right now.
Right. Are you putting this on? Am I live? Am I live?
You're calling from the bureau. You're speaking with an inmate in the Bureau of Prison. Federal
like,
Bureau.
You'd have been like, Zach is still in jail.
Yeah.
So that's my story, man.
Nice. Good times. Good times.
I don't like some of that. I don't think of as good times, but that was my story.
It's funny now. You don't see. It's funny. You don't laugh about it nearly as much. Even looking back, I can tell you're like.
Oh, I hate it. It's gut wrenching. It's gut. That part of it is gut because the onslaught of bad decisions.
Yeah, yeah. And when you went to prison, so you go to prison and you meet me, and I remember then you did your 2255 and got back. Which honestly, even getting to be brought back in front of the judge for a 2255 that's almost unheard of.
Right.
So you actually got yourself back, but the judge just hated you.
Oh, he hates my gut. He hated my guts.
Who was the judge?
Judge Whittemore. He hated my guts.
So funny.
Needless to say, I did the whole bid, thought for sure at some point something would cut me at least a little bit. Only thing it did was RDAP.
Oh, RDAP?
Yeah.
Oh, you did go all the way through RDAP?
I went all the way through RDAP and got the year off.
Bro, I have a question for you. Like, how, like, you like...
I did it at the pen.
Well, it's probably not as bad at the pen. Like,
it was bad.
I mean, are guys telling on each other left
what?
and right?
Yes.
Are they?
Yes.
At the pen. What are you talking about?
Stabbings.
Big Herc says that nobody tells on anybody in the pen. Oh, we got to do that video. So you got the year off.
I went to bloody Beaumont.
Beaumont. Yeah, that's bad. That's my cousin went there too. You know, he was like
he went to bloody.
He went to the medium.
Oh,
he went to medium. He was like the medium.
Medium was supposed to be worse than the pen.
Right. He was like, it was horrible. It's horrible. I was like, bro. I said, how bad? I said, bro, are you okay? I mean, how bad is it there? Because I was sending letters between my mom, and he said, listen, it's bad, but don't worry. There's some guys from my trailer park here. I'm gonna be okay.
Yes.
He's hilarious. All right, so that's it, right? You want me to wrap it up? All right. Hey, so if you like the podcast, do me a favor, hit the like button, share the video, turn on the notification, hit the bell to be notified, and leave a comment. And definitely, I'll say it twice, definitely share the video, and I appreciate it. All right, Zach?
Hey.
Zach, all right. See ya. Hey, listen, this is one part of a seven-part series that we're doing on Zach and Zach's story. It's probably going to be around 3 hours long. So if you're not subscribed, you want to make sure you get all the notifications and check out the whole story. Do me a favor, subscribe, hit the notification button, and share the video, leave a comment, do the whole thing, because it's a great story. And check this out.